All right, so you know why you're here, right? You want to get right to the point and see what's really going on in the NFL.
Yep.
Especially when it comes to figuring out, like, who the real deal Super Bowl contenders are going to be.
Yeah, you want that inside scoop.
And you and I both noticed some pretty interesting things that Levante David had to say.
Absolutely. Tampa Bay Buccaneers linebacker Levante David.
Yeah.
He was on the Rich Eisen show on YouTube.
He was.
And he had some stuff to say about quarterbacks.
He did.
Jayden Daniels and Jalen Hurts.
Oh, yeah. And what about the Eagles' chances of getting back to the Super Bowl?
Yes, exactly. So we're going to dig into all that.
So we're going deep on Levante David's takes here.
We are going deep.
Getting that player perspective.
Can't get it anywhere else.
Can't get it anywhere else. All right, let's jump right into it.
Let's do it.
Jayden Daniels first.
Yes.
Levante David's actually been on the field against him.
He has, and when Levante David, who's played against so many quarterbacks over his career, makes an assessment, it holds weight, and he did not mince words.
Nope.
He called Daniels the real thing.
Wow.
So that's high praise.
That is high praise coming from a seasoned vet like that.
It is.
It's not just what he saw on the field, though, right?
Oh, no, it wasn't.
Levante David said that Daniels is a
real humble kid.
Yeah, a real humble kid, a hard worker.
Yeah, the dedication and character.
Yeah.
That often shows you who is going to succeed long term.
Yeah, exactly.
And he even went a step further.
He did.
He thinks Daniels is going to lead his team to the promised land eventually.
Wow. So after just 1 year in the league,
1 year.
he's got that much faith in him already.
That's a strong statement.
That's a huge statement. What stood out to him, do you think, to be able to say something like that?
Well, he talked about their game against Daniels.
Oh, he did.
He did. And he said, even against a veteran smart team like the Buccaneers, Daniels stayed disciplined, stuck to the game plan, and made the right throws.
That's maturity.
That's a maturity and game awareness.
Yeah.
You don't always see that in young quarterbacks.
You do not. So it's more than just like physical talent.
It's the mental side of the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
And David pointed out a few things that he thinks will help Daniels keep getting better. He's got that first year under his belt now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Same offensive coordinator.
That's key.
And they're adding more offensive weapons.
Huge.
Huge.
All good signs.
All great signs for young quarterback's development. And here's where it gets really interesting.
Yeah.
David didn't just hint at future success.
No.
He went out and said Daniels is getting a Super Bowl in his belt coming soon.
Whoa, that's not just like a
casual good job.
a little pat on the back.
No, that's I really believe in you.
He sees it.
He does. What do you think makes him so confident?
I mean, he saw it firsthand, right?
He did.
The talent, the work ethic, the football IQ.
Yeah.
And when a guy like Levante David, who is a top defensive player, sees those things in another quarterback, it's like, yeah.
He sees something special.
All right, let's move on to the Eagles now.
The Philadelphia Eagles.
Yeah, the reigning NFC champs. They have to be in the conversation for Super Bowl contenders, right?
They have to be.
For sure.
Absolutely. And Levante David says they are a team they need to get.
That's what you want to hear.
It is. It is.
You know, that competitive fire.
Exactly. He knows who is in his way, and he's focused on it.
Yeah, and his reasoning is pretty straightforward.
It is. They brought their whole core back.
So all their key players.
All the key players.
Offense and defense.
Yep, offense and defense. A lot of their top offensive linemen.
Yeah.
Defensive playmakers all still there.
Yeah, it's a big difference.
Familiarity.
Cohesion, yeah.
Yeah.
He even threw in a little bit of rivalry talk in there, too.
He did. He did.
Talking about how the BUCS have had success against the Eagles in the past and, hope that continues.
A little fun.
A little fun.
A little rivalry.
It's always good to hear that from the players.
Yeah.
What they're really thinking about those matchups.
It is. But all joking aside, he's pretty clear about how good the Eagles are.
Yeah.
He straight up called them a great football team.
He did. And he really highlighted Jalen Hurts' leadership, too.
He did.
Saying that he's leading them the proper way.
Doing it his way.
You can tell that Hurts has earned a lot of respect around the league.
He has.
And Saquon Barkley joining the team really caught Levante David's attention.
He called Barkley kind of like a cheat code.
I mean, that's huge praise.
It is.
For a guy who can be so dangerous running and catching the ball.
Yeah, he can do it all.
What do you think stood out to Levante David about Colin Barkley?
I think it's that versatility. A running back who can also be a really good receiver. Yeah. That forces defenses to adjust to be more flexible.
Oh, absolutely.
And it can open up the whole offense.
It's a whole other thing that teams have to plan for.
Exactly. And if you look at the bigger picture, David gets it.
He does.
He knows the Eagles with their key players and their great staff, as he called them,
Yeah.
are going to be tough to beat every year.
Every year.
Every single year.
Yeah, he also mentioned that the Buccaneers and Washington are going to be trying hard to knock them off.
Oh, we are.
So it's going to be competitive.
Yeah.
But Levante David knows that the Eagles aren't expecting it to be easy either.
No.
They know it's going to be a fight every week.
They do.
Let's talk about the Super Bowl for a second.
Okay.
Specifically, that comparison between how the Eagles' defense played against Mahomes and what the Buccaneers did back in 2020.
Yeah, a lot of people were talking about that.
A lot of people.
They were.
And Levante David said he got texts during the game from teammates and other people pointing it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow, it's interesting. Even players watching the game could see the similarities in how they were trying to stop Mahomes.
Oh, yeah, they all saw it.
I love Levante David's response.
Me too.
It ain't nothing like I'm play, but it is what it is.
Classic. So he acknowledged the comparison, but also made it clear, like, hey.
Our defense was different.
Yeah, we did it better.
You know?
He did say the Eagles did okay against Mahomes.
Okay.
Maybe that's just,
a veteran's way of looking at it.
Yeah, maybe he's not going to overpraise them for what they did.
Right.
But he did say that he thinks the Eagles' defense deserved more credit for how they played.
Yeah, especially against a quarterback as good as Mahomes.
It's interesting.
It is.
To see how defensive strategies change over time.
Yeah.
To try to stop these amazing offenses.
Yeah, how do you counter these dominant offensive forces?
And it's cool to get that insight from Levante David's point of view.
Absolutely.
So just to recap, Levante David is really high on Jayden Daniels.
He is.
Even predicting a Super Bowl in his future.
Wow.
And he thinks the Eagles are still one of the best teams in the NFC.
He does?
Especially with Jalen Hurts as their leader. And now that they've added Saquon Barkley, it is big. And getting these insights from someone like him who's played against Daniels and the Eagles, it's really valuable.
It is. It goes beyond just the numbers and the headlines.
It does. It's like that feeling of respect that players have for each other.
Yeah, the respect they have for each other.
And you can only get that from someone who's actually out there on the field.
Absolutely.
So here's something to think about.
Okay.
Levante David's clearly optimistic about Daniels.
He is.
He sees the Eagles' strengths.
Yep.
But what about those other things that can make a difference?
Like what?
Like team chemistry, right?
Yeah.
Big coaching decisions under pressure.
Those are huge.
Or even just plain luck.
Luck is always a factor.
What do you think is going to be the deciding factor in who wins the NFC?
Good question.
Something to think about until our next deep dive.
Yeah. Until next time.
See you then.
See ya.